Hey students, Tim here. Welcome to the 6th lesson in the home piano course. We're going to be using this book. You can find it in the link description. And today we're going to be talking about... Today we're mostly talking about the G major chord and the D7 chord, along with some pieces that go along with it. We're going to be learning a little bit about the damper pedal. And yeah, we're going to finish things out by writing E for the left hand on page 66. So let's take a look at page 57. The Leschetisky Solution, I apologize if I don't pronounce it right. This is basically a very simple exercise, and what it is used for is training certain fingers on your hand. So you can see like this first one, you're holding down 4 notes, I'll show you in a second, on the piano, and then you're pressing down the thumb, whereas the next one is you're hitting down the other fingers, and then you're hitting the third finger, and then or second finger, and then the third finger, fourth finger, and fifth finger. And really it goes along with the diagram we talked a little bit last time, where a lot of people have a weakness. Not a lot of people, everybody. These 2 fingers are weaker than those 2, as well as the motor skills are a little bit harder as well. So this aims to basically help train all of your fingers and basically train the independence of each finger. So let me just show you on the piano really quick, even though I think it's pretty straightforward. Okay, so I'm just going to play through it just to show you what it's going to be like. These are not going to sound pretty, by the way. Oh, that last one got me a little bit. See right where the 5th finger hits? So I would probably play that again. Although there are definitely repeats for each of those. And then the left hand's really the same type of thing. Whoops. Man, I should really actually play through this on my own as a practice, because I definitely felt towards the end there like my one finger really wanted to lift up. Once you get to the pinky, the tendency is that your ring finger also wants to lift up. So this will help you train that. But let's get back to the book here, because there's a lot to cover today. But I want you to read through all of this on your own, because it will give you more in-depth kind of information there. Okay, the G major chord and D7 chord. So if you remember from last time, we talked about the C major chord and then the G7. This is the exact same thing, except now we're over in a G position. So in G position, here's our G major chord. And then just like before, when we were in C position, you're going to move your pinky down, and this time you're going to hit an F sharp though. So there's your D7 chord. Back to G, just play that a few times, D7. And luckily, they actually do write it out in this little diagram for you, so they do make it a lot better there. Same thing with the other page we talked about where it was in C position. Just play through this, just get the movement between those 2 chords. Why? Well, you will find out, because, actually I'm going to tell you, it's in the piece on the next page. Let's get a better view here. So here's the Cuckoo. Now, this is using the chords we just talked about. Other than that, not a whole lot to talk about. You got to be careful of ties. Of course, I'm looking at slurs, right? That's when we are kind of connecting those notes together. So instead of disjointed like this, they're going to be played on the melody to kind of connect it together as one whole idea. Other than that, looking at it, there is a repeat on the first line here, which is a little bit unusual because you expect the repeat usually at the end, but just showing you what to look out for. Other than that, what should I be looking for? I'm looking for time signature, key signature, but right now we don't have to worry about that as much. All right, let's play it and show you how it's gonna go. So that is the Cuckoo. Let's continue moving on. Hey, check it out. It's the same thing, the G major 7 and D7 chords. We're on page 60 with the right hand. This is really, really easy because it's literally the same stuff we've been talking about. Just with the right hand, and they even give you the diagram. Just be careful with the right hand. We're moving our thumb down to F sharp to hit that second chord. Okay, here is Harp Song. This one we have to be careful of something though, and that particularly is the this line right here. What in the heck is that? Well, if you take a look right above, we have something called the damper pedal, which is the right pedal on the piano. I'm not going to talk about the other pedals right now because they are a little different on each piano, at least through some of them. So here, what this symbol means is you're going to be holding the right pedal down, you're holding it, and then this means you're going to lift the pedal up. So what this pedal does is it will, like the name implies, sustain the notes that are underneath it. So like, for example, and by the way, I have pulled out my sustain pedal. I actually should maybe move it to the right because that's where it would be on your piano. I moved it out from the piano a little bit so you can see me press it. So when you have the sustain pedal pressed down and you play a string of notes, it kind of blends them all together, right? And then when you lift up, it stops the sound. Same thing with a single note, right? If I just tap a note without the pedal, it's real short. If I just tap a note with the pedal, oh hey, it sustains it. So that's what that's doing for us. So I'm going to play through the first two lines of this. As you can see, we have the line held down, the pedal, and then lift up really quick between each line. And again, I'm going to have this down here. So I have the sustain pedal right here, a little bit out from the piano so you can see it. Not the most comfortable for me. Normally it would be up that way a little bit. But just to show you how it's going to work. So at the end of each line, you just lift up real quick. Let me play the rest of it for you. I could have done a better job because I was supposed to make a break at the end of this line here. And then I'd repeat again. Just be careful that there is a break in the pedal right there. But there's your first piece with the pedal. I find a lot of students could do pretty well with this one. If you have any trouble, let me know in the comments. Let's continue. Okay, here we have writing the G major and D7 chords for the left hand. I'm going to let you do this page all on your own. Based off of everything we talked about today, you should have a pretty good idea on how to fill this out. Based on the other page, so it's really not that bad. And then Liza Jane, I'm gonna have you play that one as an assignment on your own. Again in G position, so make sure you're in the right position. Look out for 4/4 time signature. Write in these boxes whatever they want there, the chord symbols. So there's G, there's something 7. I'm not gonna give you all the answers today. And then is there a pedal on this one? No pedal on this one, so there is literally no pedal. What does NC stand for? It stands for no chord. There's no chord going on there. A lot of times if there's no chord, they do write NC sometimes, but a lot of times they just don't write anything. Same exact concept, but with your right hand for the treble clef. You can figure this out all on your own. Down here though, they are showing you the difference between block chords and broken chords. And I showed you this a little bit in a lesson. I forget exactly what number it is, but block chord, broken chord, also called an arpeggio. So fill out the blanks, do this page on your own. New position for the C major chord. So they're adding in, so we're in G position. Actually, you can't even see what I'm talking about. We're in G position still. It's just now we're finding a different way to play the C major chord. Now, what is this talking about? Well, you have your G major chord here, And then remember our C major chord was here when we were in C position, made up of the notes C, E, and G. Now, do you remember what I said about chords is that they can appear in order, root position from the bottom to the top. So C major, you'd expect C on the bottom, E and G. However, you can take that same chord, C, E, and G, and swap the notes. So you could have maybe like E on the bottom instead of C. Or you could have G on the bottom instead of C. So you have literally the same three notes. You're changing up the order. Now, what was that called? It's called an inversion. So now they're showing you what it's like playing the C major chord in G. So you have this here. They actually have it broken up. And then here we're playing a C major chord, but it's in an inversion, which is why we have the same notes C, E, and G. They're just in a different order, G, C, and E. And then they move back to the G chord, back to the C. And it's really easy. The only thing you have to be careful of is right here to move your thumb when you play that C chord. But you should be getting used to that by now. And here are the block chords, just like that, and like that. Pretty standard stuff, I would say. And then you have beautiful brown eyes, which I will play this one for you just because there's something new in there. And then, yeah, so let me play this for you. So I'm looking at this piece for the first time. This is something that I'm gonna ask you about every time. What am I on the lookout for? Let's take a look. You got time signature. Let's have you name one. It's another thing. Think about it. Pause the video if you need. You're looking for maybe dynamics, right? Like how loud you're going to be playing. Always look out for those ties. And now we have pedal markings into the mix. So only like the second half of each line. Nothing too major there. Let's see here. And then, yeah, your chord symbols, you can pay attention to those. They do tell you a little bit about what's happening in the piece. If those still confuse you, don't worry. The theory course and playing further in this course will help you out with that. So let me play Beautiful Brown Eyes for you. So while you have the pedal, this is so hard to show on camera, while you have the pedal down, you can hold it down like you would like a car pedal. And then when you lift up off of it, kind of like you would with a car pedal as well, like an accelerator or something, you would still have your foot hovered over it. You're just not pressing it. Because what you do is if you move your foot aside, I'm telling you, you will miss. First of all, it's more effort, but you will miss some of those pedal starts if you have your foot resting to the side and then you got to move it back over. So just like driving a car, maybe you haven't driven a car yet, keep your foot there ready to take action when you need it rather than moving it all over the place. Okay, finishing out the lesson with an assignment for you to do. So basically this is all the left-hand notes we've studied so far. So it is up to you to fill out this page. The whole page, that's your homework. And actually, other than that, go over all the other pages we talked about today. You know, obviously play through the pieces 2 times each like we've been doing for all the other ones, 2 times a day, 30 minutes total practice time. Go through all the pages we talked about, practice the things twice, star down any problem areas, and then at the end of the practice session, if you have more time remaining to the 30 minutes, go back and work on those little problem areas that you had identified earlier. So make sure that you are spending the time to practice, first of all. Make sure you check out the next lesson in this series when it's posted right here somewhere. Make sure that you're subscribed. You have all notifications turned on. It's been your piano teacher, Tim, here. Thanks for coming by. If you want to learn a lot more about piano music, by the way, check out my website, pianolessonsontheweb.com, code YouTube. for 15% off. Anyway, it's been Tim here, and I'll see you in the next lesson.